My brothers and sisters, I greet you in the name of our soon-coming King. Please allow me to present you this report from the Public Affairs and Religious Liberty Department for the last 5 years. Today, you may not be affected as you still enjoy religious freedom, but tomorrow, it may not be the same story. Religious freedom is essential to peace, unity, and prosperity for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands and the government. Again, thank you for allowing me to serve you for the past 5 years. May God bless us all as we establish His work and stand together and be the voice for the voiceless.
The Turks and Caicos Islands Mission of Seventh-day Adventists Public Affairs and Religious Liberty Department, PARL, in conjunction with the General Conference and Atlantic Caribbean Union Mission of Seventh-day Adventists, is dedicated to the promotion of liberty of conscience, freedom of religion, and the combating of religious intolerance within the Turks and Caicos Islands. Our mission is to champion the God-given principle of religious liberty through public education, media, legal services, legislative advocacy, and grassroots mobilization. The PARL Department is the official voice and presence of our churches in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Ronald Reagan said, and I quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." The past 4 years have been extraordinary years for the Turks and Caicos Islands Mission, Public Affairs, and Religious Liberty Department. It has been years of educational learning, building friendships, and networking with the Turks and Caicos Islands communities, government, Human Rights Commission, and different denominations. The PARL Department was able to accomplish 95% thus far of its strategic plans in these last 5 years. The Department of Public Affairs and Religious Liberty conducted workshops annually for all religious liberty leaders and assistants of all local churches within the Turks and Caicos Islands. Workshops for local church members sensitizing members of their rights under the Turks and Caicos Islands and the Human Rights Commission's law. Gathered contact information pertaining to civil and religious leaders in the various communities of the Turks and Caicos Islands for subscription of Religious Liberty magazine. Encouraged and accomplished local church leaders to subscribe to Liberty magazine. Assistance to members and newly baptized members that had issues working on the Sabbath, dealt with issues pertaining to students that were forced to take classes and exams on the Sabbath. Over the 4 years, the PARL Department dealt with over 85 threats to the religious freedom of our members and had successful outcome, with 80% resolved amicably. Annually, the department joined with the World Church in celebrating Religious Liberty Day, where all churches acknowledged and gave thanks to God for the freedom of religion in our country. Special guest presence of Mr. Dwayne Leslie, Legislative Affairs Director of the General Conference, Lincoln Steed, Editor of Liberty Magazine, and Elder Isaac Colley, PARL Director of Atlantic Caribbean Union Mission. Courtesy call to His Excellency the Governor of the Turks and Caicos Islands. He was presented with a copy of Liberty magazine, and we had dialogue in relation to plans of the Religious Liberty Department. Seminars conducted with the Human Rights Commission and local attorneys at law, open mic for members to get legal advice pertaining to their rights and religious freedom in the country. Interaction with our faith and civic organizations, pulpit exchange pastors, PARL leaders, and elders of the local churches preached in churches outside of their districts. Recognized Thanksgiving service for civic and business leaders, customs, police, immigration officers, and lawyers who supported religious liberty in the workplace and society in general. The department contributed in a legal policy of the revised Human Rights Constitution that added to their defense of citizens and members as it relates to their rights in the workplace and to their day of worship. Promotion began in encouraging members to establish a religious liberty association in each church and the various islands. Recommendations is to encourage local churches to make provisions for a PARL leader in all the churches that do not have functioning officers. A system to be developed and put in place for reporting from local churches. Prayers for members that feel that they have to compromise their faith for a job over God's promises. In conclusion, this has been a great achievement for the past 5 years in sensitizing the members and country at large of religious freedom. The department continues its effort to negotiate with employers on behalf of members where and when necessary to appear on their behalf. God has been so good to us in spite of the downs and up of the government and economy.
And please allow me to thank two persons that have been my main supporters for the last 5 years, Brother Mark Fulford, my assistant, and Ms. Doreen Quelch-Stubbs, the Commissioner for the Human Rights. Again, thank you, God bless, and enjoy the report.